Season 2 of Severance has just aired on Apple TV Plus, which literally no one pays for or has. But I've seen a lot of discourse going around about the show. Some people are saying that if you don't understand or like Severance, you have no media literacy, which is such a buzz term these days. And others are saying that it's just boring and slow, including Timothy Poole. He's on a rampage over the weekend tweeting about Severance and how he tried to give it a chance and it was just unbearable. He tweeted, "People keep raving about Severance. It's painfully slow. I'm just skipping shit." He followed it up saying, "People who watch Severance like watching old men make out and are intrigued by a major plot point of an old man trying to find his lost boyfriend."
See, I think Tim is just revenue farming right now.
Well, okay. For those of you unfamiliar, I know this because I watched the first season of Severance. I have not followed up on the second season, and they've already been greenlit for a third. But there was a 3-year gap. The first one came out in 2022.
I hate this.
And what?
I hate that. Well, look, did you see the article? So the guy who made One Piece, the showrunner for One Piece, like left before season 2 can come out. He's like, "I just want to thank everybody for the most amazing 6 years of my life." I'm like, 6 years to make one season.
It's insane the amount of time that they're waiting in
like they're just
shows.
you know what the fault of this is? It's the medical industrial complex for making us live so long. Back in the day, we died so young. You had to get 22 episodes out a year for gosh sakes, because half your audience might be dead by the following year.
Yeah, well, the first season of Severance came out in 2022. I watched it. I liked it a lot, and I realized I was going to have to wait like a billion years for the second one, which is why I lost interest, and I'm not going to watch the second one in all likelihood. Also because it's on Apple TV, and no one wants that. So the premise is all of these people are going into a job where they're a completely different person. Their brain is split. Their brain is severed. They have one version of their psyche that engages with their job, and they have a different version of their psyche that is their life outside of work.
I mean, I do that now. Nobody's making a TV show about me.
Well, look, that's why it has such an appeal for people, because it's a meta commentary on work-life balance and I see the appeal. It's basically a thought experiment, although I agree with the people saying the thought experiment was exhausted after the first season finale. It wasn't needing anything else to follow up on it. It was just an interesting idea, and then by now everyone's kind of noticed it's gone downhill. Tim also said, "I wonder why so many people started posting about how good Severance is. It's not." Alongside this article claiming Apple has lost $1 billion a year on their TV business. Why can't their shows reach mass appeal? Despite huge investment and award-winning shows, Apple TV Plus is still struggling to make a mark and reportedly losing up to €1 billion a year. They see it as a damning indictment of Apple's Netflix competitor streaming service.
It's because they've
only had Severance and Ted Lasso and then a bunch of other shit that no one's heard of.
No, Silo did fairly well. They've done a bunch of stuff that was really, really popular, in so much as you can call something on Apple TV, which nobody has, really, really popular, right? So what I believe it is Apple TV made the choice from the beginning that they weren't going to IP farm. So they're not buying up IPs. They're creating their own original stuff. And if anything, it's an indictment of everyone who's like, why doesn't Hollywood make anything new anymore? I don't want to go to the theaters.
No,
it's all
true.
the same stuff all the time. And I'm like, make the slop. I love the slop. I don't care, because everybody's lying. They don't actually want something new. They want to be force-fed something that they think is new, but is based on original IP, because they're not going to put the money behind original products. You know why? Because Apple TV, the only place that can do that is Apple, which makes $93 billion in profit a year. Not 93 billion, $93 billion in profit by selling people mediocre phones.
They're not mediocre.
I'm just kidding.
I stand by
I'm just
that.
kidding. The point is that people don't actually want original content, and this is why I dunk on it so hard. I don't have a monocle, so I can't watch Apple TV. I don't have a butler. I can't watch Apple TV. I didn't get a master's degree. I can't watch Apple TV. I'm sorry.
They
but
do.
But in all seriousness, they have about 44 million subscribers on their platform. Here's the thing: they spend about $4 billion. They used to spend about $5 billion a year in content. Well, Netflix has like hundreds of millions of subscribers, and they spend like $18 billion a year on content, and that's why everyone knows what Netflix is, but nobody really cares. I actually believe, I fully believe that there's been a boardroom meeting in the last year where they're like, Mr. Cook, we lost like $1 billion on streaming. He's like, we have a streaming service? Holy shit.
It seems that the way they're running Apple TV as a streaming service is quality over quantity, which, at least in theory, I appreciate. It's not the best business move when you compare it to the success of Netflix, but they put a laughable, ridiculous amount of time and thought and money into the shows they make as originals.
Yeah.
And this one being included in that. They are, bringing in Oscar winners to write and direct these things, and they really want it to be seen as prestige television, which
this
is
would start
different from Amazon.
Maybe this is what they should start doing. So every time somebody says Hollywood's out of ideas, you just ask them, do you have Apple TV? And if they say no, be like, opinion disregarded. If that's your
unless it comes with your
phone.
Sam's Club card.
It is actually kind of crazy that Apple doesn't just give you a year free when you get an iPhone.
That is crazy. But
that's insane.
Then that would be too widespread, wouldn't it? Right?
Chris B in the chat says Wolf's was great. I didn't get to see it. I did want to see Wolf's. But the thing is whether it's Wolf's, not Wolves, Wolf's, or what was the one, Fly Me to the Moon, which they tried to release.
That was an Apple original?
Which they tried to release in theaters.
Wow.
Nobody went and saw it. They paid the money for the stars. They paid the money for the celebrities. Nobody cared.
That was Scarlett Johansson and
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, yeah.
It's just, look, nobody cares about this stuff. You're better off going. I am currently watching. So I found several. I had a very good weekend for new television.
Okay.
I was suggested Terriers with Donald Logue. It's really, really good. And I found a show, a little police procedural called Blue Ridge, about a guy who just took over the sheriff's job in a place called Blue Ridge. It's I think it's supposed to be in the mountains, and it's made by some showrunner who does mostly Christian or faith-based productions. It's on Roku, of all places, and I bet you it costs $9 in a pack of gum to make. Mm-hmm. I bet you they paid the actors in gum and compliments, gum, and validated parking. That's
maybe
what they paid them.
Some Starbucks gift cards here and there, a muffin basket.
And guess what? Roku's pulling in tons of money these days because ads are where it's at. So whether it's Apple or whether it's Roku TV, whether it's Amazon with the ads and all that stuff, the money is going where the ads are. And I definitely would not pay for Apple TV with ads.
We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Apple is working hard to try to be what HBO used to be. They have no problem losing money in the short term. They are building up a hell of a library.
Yeah.
So since you had the idea of just giving everyone a year of Apple TV with their iPhone, they could do that. And since ads are where it's at, as you said, give them the ad tier.
I wonder,
give them the ad tier.
I don't even know if they have an ad tier.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Yeah. Introduce an ad tier.
Give it to Apple ads.
Give it to the iPhone users for their first year since they bought the iPhone, and then maybe if they want to keep it, they will keep it or upgrade to a premium version of it. That's like a money-making machine right there.
Let's face it. The way to make money on that is to get the free trial, you got to put in your credit card, and then a year from now, you suddenly start getting charged. And they make whole apps now to find out the things that you're still subscribed to that you don't know.
I'm getting bombarded with ads for Rocket Money, which is entirely dedicated to deleting the subscriptions you forgot about or the ones that you're getting scammed into.
Yeah.
But as for what you said about people craving original content or claiming that they do when they don't actually show up to support it, I saw a response from the Quartering. He said, I know this is making you money, but this show is objectively good. We suffer through a mountain of remakes, reboots, and modernizations. Warts and all, this show is unique, fresh, and entertaining. I'll come on Timcast and we'll fight about this. I would love to see that. And then Tim responded, Severance is a good idea, bad execution. I like the idea, so I just skip half the show because it's slow and doesn't advance the plot. In before TikTok brain rot. I don't use TikTok and I have no problems with non-mystery box shows. So, I mean, I thought that it was slow and interesting in the first season. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing the second season is a major drop-off in keeping people invested because they didn't plan for it necessarily to get this far. I really hate when you can tell they're making it up as they go along unless it's just kind of a comfort show that was on network television where they were responding to ratings in real time.
Yep, like Lost.
Severance seems like a great idea that they didn't think would get renewed.
Should have hired J.J. Abrams. At least then there would be explosions and...
Really?
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I watched Lost and it was wasn't really all explosions.
Maybe Terry Quinn will show up in this one. Look, the quartering also said that if you go to see Snow White, you're a bad person. So, yeah. I don't know why.
Really?
I'm assuming because Rachel Zegler?
I guess I'm a terrible person then. Did he really say that?
There was a tweet about that.
Let me look at his timeline and see if I can find it. Was it basically just you're giving money to people who hate you?
Yes.
So, well, that would just make you dumb. That wouldn't make you a bad person.
Well, this show is directed by Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller hates us. Or you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller actually responded to Tim's tweet with a nerd emoji.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are also saying that you need to be media literate, or they're saying the same thing as the Rick and Morty meme. You need to be a certain IQ level to understand Severance.
What did I say before? Yeah, I read a tweet that said Severance is a 105 IQ's person's idea of what a 130 IQ show would look like.
Yeah, and I won't even argue with that. Like, even while I was watching it, I was like, this is so interesting. Like, I just feel really interesting for even watching this because it's so interesting.
But the media literacy arguments are the worst. The worst people make the media literacy argument.
They didn't reel me back in, is the point. I don't think I'm going to be returning to watch.
And it's hard when there's 3 zillion years between seasons.
But if this means anything, Matt Walsh loves Severance. He hates everything, but he loves Severance.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.